So welcome back everyone on a brand new video. Last week Wednesday you actually saw an Arabian castle in Luxembourg. Well, today I'm actually showing an Arabian home, and I'm not in Luxembourg this time, but I am in the trusted country of Belgium. And today I'm gonna document the home of Mr. Rekazzi and his family. Like I mentioned, an Arabian family. I'm standing here at the main door, at least it was the main door one time. And right now it's just full of mess, but be prepared because this room might look like a big dump, but some rooms inside are absolutely incredible, completely untouched, and this place is a real time capsule. So like you can see right behind me, it's quite hard to move myself, but there is still a piano. It's still working. We have to be careful though, because this home is right next to a busy road and we do not want anyone to hear us. So yeah, let's just go on with the exploration and I will give you a tour inside. Enjoy this video. This place got abandoned in 2011 and has been neglected now for 9 years. You can tell that the first floor has already collapsed. That's because a part of the roof is actually severely damaged. This was once their garage. There are still some bicycles here. It's a very windy day today, so the strong currents of the wind are actually blowing against the garage door. So Mr. Rekazzi and his wife, they actually had one daughter. Her name was Vanessa. The fridge is emptied out. So this part over here is actually the attic part. There is also a shed outside. We have not checked yet, but we will check it later on. Now this is the point where you saw me during the introduction. Once the main door. And this is how it looks 9 years later. I think nobody ever thought it would look like this 9 years ago, when it was still full of life. There is a French piano from 𝗦𝘁cie𝗿𝗆𝗵. Also unfortunately in a very, very bad state of disrepair. Oh, there is still some food inside of this cabinet. It's completely rotting away. Doesn't look very nice. There is even some apple drinks or something there. But yeah, nothing very, very interesting so far. Well, this thing over here, device, was actually used as a seat on a horse. You can see a horse over there, so maybe their daughter actually liked horse riding. I will elaborate on the daughter later on, but we actually found out that she was in love. We found her diary and it's just beautiful to go through these old memories. So I'm really looking forward to show that to you. But firstly, let's just go into the details. Look over here. There's this robo toy. The wind is just all coming inside of this house, and nature is literally slowly starting to reclaim this property. It's degrading day by day. The umbrella is still left at the original hanger here on the side of the piano. Then the next room, I have to be a little bit silent over here. But this was actually their dining room. And you can immediately tell the difference of how messy the other room was and how pristine this one is just left behind. So that same dining table you see over here, this was actually in 2001. That was their daughter, Vanessa, together with a friend of her who was having her birthday. It's always great to imagine how these places just get left behind. Like the former family just vanished into the blue and never returned. It's still unreal, even if I have seen maybe 300 homes like this. I can often still not get my mind straight about it. Some artwork here displayed on the wall. Some tiny ornaments and plates. Nice collection of china actually. There's another photo of little children dancing and playing in costumes. Now let's check out the cabinets. They're still completely filled as well. Just with some everyday items, some pens. Over here are some more plates and glasses. It's been taken out over here. Well, let's go to this corner over here. You can see the curtains just moving around because of the strong wind, like I mentioned. But this desk over here is actually just left pristine, with still the typewriter on top. And this head, I think it's telling a lot of info about the former profession of the man. I think he was not a pilot, but I see a harp instrument. Maybe he was playing an instrument, like in a harmony. Also still the office chair. The plant over there is just completely dry and barren. And some nice artwork again. But I don't want to stay too long here because I have very much exposure with the street. So let's head to that room right there. And I think it's actually my favorite room inside of this place. Now have a look. Isn't this a true beauty? I cannot believe my eyes. It's completely trapped in time. Like Mr. Rekazzi. I don't know what happened to this man. Maybe he passed away. Or maybe they just left the property and they never returned. It's unbelievable. You can see a lot of Arabic influences in the decoration of their home. Also the oriental chair over here. We found a similar chair like this in the Arabic castle, which we visited last week. Some records here on the chair, and also just look at the way it has been stuffed. Very interesting. Again, an Arabic style. Oh wow, there is a wonderful fan over here. Also again an Asian fan. And now let's head over here. Those are actually some receipts. That's how we found out the name of the former owner. Rekazzi, and this was actually the diary of his daughter Vanessa. This was a child picture of her. These people, they actually talked French, and in 2002 she wrote the following story. I'm just gonna translate it and read it up for you. The 4th of March 2002. I'm still in love with Thomas. I'm almost sure that he loves me well too. And all my friends, Anne and the other ones, they say that they think he's waiting for me. He picks me up at school every day. I'm asking myself if I'm the only girl where he does this with. And furthermore, it's quite hard to read, but it's beautiful to go through her thoughts, and there's also still some schedules and appointments of them inside of her diary. I'm gonna close it because I just want it to be kept, and hopefully one day she will look back at it and retrieve it. Then also over here is actually a CD with the Arabic language on it. Some CDs on the shelves. So many random items, and these people obviously liked reading too. There's many books inside of the cabinets. It's a wonderful vintage lamp. We found it in many Belgium homes before. Yet I think this one is a mixture between Belgian and Arabic. And that's actually really neat and unique to see. I like this one, and it's actually no oil lamp, but it's just an electric lamp. Over here are some more photos of monkeys. Looks like this was from a trip when they maybe went to the zoo. Some lights, looks like they actually were used as Christmas decoration lights. Look at the penguin ornament right there in front of the films. Also a duck. There's a lot of little items and details everywhere across the home. Now this looks to me like it was actually a part of an oil lamp. And this over here, I guess it was an ashtray. One thing for sure, I think Mr. Rekazzi was an intelligent person. There is a lot of encyclopedias here on the shelves, and also everything about medicine from A to Z. Now let's grab one out, because I'm curious to see what's actually written inside. Medicine from A to Z. Oh yeah, look over here. It's talking about movements, abduction. Oh, and it's all exactly from A to Z. Over here somebody passed out. They're explaining what you have to do. Also in case of a snake bite. Oh, a baby which is born. This is about cancer. Curious from what year this book is actually dated. Well, at least this article over here was from 1980. It was from the Journal of Medicine, written in French. Very interesting fact. So Mr. Rekazzi might have been in the medical field. What's this over? I think it used to hang on the wall like that. A crocodile. Oh, and this was actually a book which was an English language course. This was definitely the part of the cabinet which was for their daughter when she was growing up. A lot of children books, and also all the pencils here for their daughter to draw. Also many movies again. Okay, now let's take our time to point out this wonderful fireplace over here. I've never seen a net like this in front of a fireplace. It's really unique. You can tell that there's cracks in the marble fireplace, sadly enough. Now there is also a stuffed bird over here. It seems still something typical French. People who are holding taxidermy in their home. I just love how retro everything is in this home. This is such a vintage room. The peacock feathers over here, used as decoration. But you can clearly tell by all the background noise that this place is just next to a very, very busy road. And still everything is kept so pristine. It's hard to believe, but Belgium has a very low crime rate. That's probably why these homes are just kept in such a mesmerizing condition. Abandoned for 9 years, and here I am. Seems not many people have touched this room. Now have a look at the wonderful chandelier over here. All the different colors reflecting of these tiny parts, almost like diamonds. And then on the middle of the table, there are some other tiny ornaments. Again, a part of an oil lamp. The leather seats must have been very comfortable back in their days. Yet now they are damaged and full of mold, so I definitely do not recommend sitting on them. Where they also had this little marble table. Again, even more books. I think those were just for their leisure time. There's even a Pikachu doll here on the ground. Then over here is another one of these Asian fans which used to hang as an ornament on the wall. And it was actually from Barcelona, so they must have loved traveling as well. So this room was absolutely unbelievable. It left me speechless, lost for words. But I want to take you to the next area. You've just also seen this dining area over here. But right on the opposite side, there's actually a wonderful kitchen. By the way, also have a look at this. They had an aquarium. I did not even notice it up till now. It seems that there are no fishes left inside. Luckily, they didn't left their fishes, just left unloved. Now have a look. I just really like how they actually made these entrances with the stones and all these curvatures. And this was actually a kitchen part and also a tiny hallway. It's so spacious actually. They had a lot of room. Over here was actually a heater, and again they placed a similar net in front of it. And besides, they also used this as a furnace. Over here a CD rack. They would place all the CDs inside. So they probably loved listening to music as well. I'm not touching this one because you see the cobwebs over here. I do not want to demolish it. It's too beautiful and just kept and preserved in time. The other one I can open, but there is nothing interesting at all. Only this remote control. Oh, nice. This actually looks like animal droppings. I think from a cat or a dog. Luckily I didn't step in it. That's a little bit nasty. Again, the plants over here, which are just completely dry and barren. It's unbelievable. You can also see some wonderful natural decay in this corner. Parts have fallen down off the wall. A lot of leakage. And there is this portrait. Everything for the electricity. I think if I turn one switch now, the electricity would even still work inside. But I'm not gonna do it. And then have a look at this very cozy kitchen. Again, it's in such a good condition for the time. It has not been used. I really liked how they decorated their home. It makes it such a cozy place. You can only imagine how the people lived there back in their days. Mr. Rekazzi, his wife, and his daughter. A family of Arabic origin, again. Don't know what that was used for. Look at the light spots over there. There would even be light shining in the kitchen in the evening. And then the clock has stopped ticking at precisely 12 o'clock. Ever since it's been abandoned. That's quite eerie and strange at the same time. Now let's guide you through their kitchen. Over here actually something very typical. Look at this pot. I think they used to boil water with it. Maybe in the fireplace even. Oh, and then these clowns over here in the corner. There was a lot of mold on the wooden cabinets of the kitchen. Over here was their furnace. Still a pan inside. What I also really like is how the natural light is just falling through the window over here on the ceiling. Oh my gosh, the water is still running. That's incredible. This is unreal. And not a little bit. Okay, let's leave it. I was not expecting that at all, to be honest. I did not even check it out yet before starting to film. Well, anyways, over here, some plates of them in the drawers. Again, entirely covered by a big amount of cobwebs. Oh, that looks disgusting. Spiders are literally taking over all the cabinets over here. And also some mice, it looks like. Yeah, just some everyday items. Oh, over here is actually a calendar date. I'm not gonna show it to protect this place, but it's dated from 2014. Now that's very odd. Do you really think that this place has only been abandoned for 6 years? The roof just collapsed. I mean, it's still in great condition, obviously, but there is plenty of decay inside. I find it hard to believe, but I think it's actually the truth. Let's continue with our tour throughout this home. A very funny sofa over here. I quite like it, at least it looks very comfortable. Many mold spores in it again. Also look at the wallpaper everywhere. They made like these little farmhouses. Well, and this part was actually their basement, but it's entirely fluted and it's just full of items. It's just full. Many cobwebs also on top. You can tell at this part it's starting to get messier again. So yeah, definitely vandalists and wrong people found out about this place. But not many explorers have actually been inside. This couch over here actually reminds me of Italy. The Italians often design couches like this. Santa over here. And this was just a tiny table. Now the thing about this family is that they owned many clothes. So I guess they were actually quite wealthy. You can see here in the back still some belts, some shoes over there, many shirts, and exactly behind me there is also a wardrobe which is still entirely covered with all these coats and shirts, blouses. It's unbelievable how they just walked away from their home and just left all their personal items left behind. Now this corridor over here is actually leading us to the bathroom. And the bathroom is again a huge junkyard. So many clothes, and mostly children clothes, just thrown everywhere. And to imagine what a wonderful bathroom this actually must have been one day. Over here the water is actually turned off. Look at the wonderful details on the wall, the lamps as well. Over there was the shower. Here in the cabinet there's even more of the children clothes just left behind. It really saddens me. This once belonged to a very joyful child. However, I really like the carvings on this cabinet actually. And then look at the kitchen from this perspective. So right over here we can actually go to their garden. There is a shed. But I firstly want to show you the upstairs. And yeah, we already checked it, the little walkthrough in this place before actually starting with filming. I took my photos and everything, for example. And it's even getting messier and messier on the upstairs floors. So yeah, do not expect too much from it, because I think the best has already been shown. However, we are gonna see the room of their daughter Vanessa in a bit. Now look again. There is so much mess on the ground, like I mentioned. I was not even joking. This could have been an indication that Mr. Rekazzi actually was of older age. Or maybe they were just disabled. Or maybe an accident happened and one of them broke their leg. I don't know. But then, this room with all the cute fluffy dolls, the pink walls and the wooden panels and bars. This was the room of their lovely daughter, Vanessa. Over here is again a calendar from 2012. So the dates vary a lot from each other. Now look at it. All these dolls just left unloved, waiting for their next owner. This is extremely sad. I mean, seeing such beautiful homes going to waste is already sad. But then in this case, if it's from a little child, it even saddens me the most. They could have had a rabbit, a hamster, or a bird. Because look at it. This is one of those sticks. And actually they were eaten by those animals. I know it because I have guinea pigs myself. And they really like these sticks. They find them very, very nice. Now enough about guinea pigs in my life. Let's point out the other dolls, which were once the favorite hug friends of Vanessa. And here they are, nowadays, just behind the cobwebs and left forgotten. It's always so gloomy to imagine that this girl probably slept there every day. I mean, it looks very cute, but it really makes you aware of the fact this was once her room. Over here there's actually a comic book of The Simpsons. She must have loved The Simpsons. Over here is also still the former baby bed of Vanessa when they raised her up in the home. This is one of those places of which I'm really curious to actually know the story. Where did the owners go? I mean, of course, Mr. Rekazzi could have passed away, but then their daughter, why is she not looking after it anymore? Because she must be still alive. Now this is actually the attic part. And this is the part which is severely damaged by the force of Mother Nature. And that's also one of the main reasons why this home is in a very bad state of disrepair. You can clearly see that the roof over here is just collapsed. It's just gone. Unbelievable. Looks like that was a part of a stroller. Over here still the curtains. I really have to watch my step inside of here, because it's definitely not very stable anymore on these floors. Okay, let's scroll over the mess again to eventually show you the last room inside of this home. Alright, there we go. There is also plenty of files over here, and they were actually about maths. So I think their daughter was in secondary school. Well, actually now I remember I wrote in her diary and she was talking about secondary school. So yes, she was definitely in secondary school. This is about maths, like I mentioned, some formulas. Probably this is all from her school. Yeah, look. There's even some more mats over here. All these notebooks are just entirely filled with all the educational material. Some little drums on the ground here. They were definitely animal lovers. concerning the fact that they also had probably a rabbit, a guinea pig, and some fishes in their aquarium. Maybe those were the pets of Vanessa. And this was another bedroom, but it's so messy again. Over here is a home trainer. It's actually a thing we often see inside of those vintage and old homes. That's because back in the days, the modern gyms, like we know them today, actually did not exist, so people just did a workout at their home. Also a board of darts. There is a poster of Shrek the movie. I loved this movie when I was a child. This is actually about a game for the Nintendo DS, Xbox, Wii and PS3. And then over here is actually a very funny photo. Just have a look at the face of the boy to the girl over here in the picture. Isn't this very funny? Look at the way he's staring, like, ooh, hello there. I'm wondering who this was. They might have been members of the family. I think they definitely had a relation with them. But it's a very old photo dated from a longer time ago. And then concerning the style of the bed, I think this mattress and that bed was actually their main bedroom. At least that's what I suppose. I really don't know elsewise because I've not seen another bedroom. It's still a very strange place. While you're exploring a home like this, a lot of questions rise to your head. And I'll probably will be waiting eternally for that one answer to the question, what happened to the people who lived there? Where did they go? And why did they leave? All their contents in their home left unloved, and their home left to be decaying in time. The thing is, you will probably never find out. Well, there is still one thing I'm gonna check out with my friend I'm with, and that's actually the shed in the garden. So yeah, let's go. So like I promised you, let's tour through the outside right now, through the garden. And over here was actually a tiny room, and that's actually where they used to wash their clothes. And there's also some electricity generators. You can still see the washer over there. And this garden is actually completely overwilded by nature. Yeah, it's completely surrounded by vegetation. Look over here. It was actually used to be from their little daughter one day. She was just swinging around. And then now, 6 years later, this is actually how the garden looks like. Imagine that 6 years ago, someone was still probably even laying in the sun over there and just sunbathing. They actually had a really unique garden, I find. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a large garden. This even looks like a tiny garden house. Well, the honor is yours, man. Because it's a very tiny room over there, so I think if you go in there with 2 people, they will not see anything. There's still some tools inside. I think it was like a workspace.
I think so.
And now just look at the contrast to the other side. That was the home we just explored, and that's the shed, and it's just completely collapsed. The roof is not even present anymore. It's almost like a stone ruin.
Huge contrast between the decay and
Yeah, it's
Fully
exactly
furnished
a
house.
beautiful contrast indeed between the furnished home, like you mentioned, and just literally a ruin next door, which was their shed. It's incredible. Let's see what's left behind inside of there. And I think after that we actually explored this place as a whole. Alright, be careful over here. Look, they might have even wanted to construct this place one day, because that's actually for concrete.
I know what you mean.
And then that's a part of a trampoline on the right side. Whoa, the entire ceiling has just collapsed. But look how fascinating this is. You have that one little chandelier over there, which is literally still hanging up.
Everything completely collapsed.
Yeah, it's completely collapsed, and also over there still are the tools and mechanic things. It's wonderful. So many mechanic items.
It's maybe for a bird or something like that.
Oh yeah, because I've seen like some snacks for birds, like if you get them as a pet.
Oh, yeah.
I found them inside, so they must have had birds, because over here is bird cages. I was hesitating because I have the same snacks actually for my guinea pig. So I was thinking, is it for a
Also,
guinea
we saw
pig?
some pictures from the birds inside the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just lastly, I want to capture a little bit more of that one chandelier over there, which is still hanging up. This is the definition of natural decay. Unbelievable. And with that having said, I want to close the video right over here. And I want to thank everybody for watching again to another place which was owned by people of Arabic origin. It was very fascinating. I love this place, and it was a perfect mixture between decay and furnished. And yeah, a real time capsule. If you enjoyed it too, I want to ask you for one thing, and that is, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. You can subscribe to our channel down below for free, and also do not forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section right down below. And then as always, we will see you on our next adventure, and who knows where it is. I don't know yet, but we will find out. Peace out.